the most common reasons you might fail in your marriage. Men and women and how they cannot share empathetically. Stop using boundaries, guys. I'm Cass.
And I'm Kathryn. You tell them how you feel, you tell them the situation, and you tell them what they need, expressing positive need.
Today, the episode is Connection. We're not so different.
We're MorrowMarriage.
Let's flip divorce statistics with the new marriage.
Welcome to the MorrowMarriage podcast, guys. And today I want to talk about the most common reasons you might fail in your marriage. Want to get into it?
Yeah, this was a good one after the last one.
Okay, well, why don't you start? What have you got?
Oh, don't put me on the spot like that.
Okay, I will. The first reason that you will fail in marriage is because you didn't have the skills. Guys, I think that, we spend a lot of time pointing out the problems that you have or the things that you do, some of the mindset shifts. But I really want to encourage you to understand right now that you don't know what you don't know. Most people don't know how to express their feelings. Most people are focused on communication, not conversation. Most people are focused on just working through life. And, in one of the episodes that we filmed today, we talked about, okay, we're having babies. So, you're going to take care of their kids and I'm going to go to work. And you start to come up with this normal thing that you see in life. Okay. And how many of you just don't realize that that's going to be harder than she thought? That's
harder than he thought with not being able to see his wife, things that you don't think about.
So I think that the first thing you need to realize is the most common problem that people are going to have is you're not going to learn. You don't understand that if you don't know what to do in the gym, you hire help. If you want a realtor, you get help selling your house. If you want to learn how to make money, you get help. Yet people in relationships wait until the shit has gone so far gone that the help is really hard. It's not like it's fun. It's not like it's easy. It's not like normal to stay on trajectory. It's so easy actually to anchor each other. And I mean in a negative way. Okay. So the most common thing I believe is that you just don't even know what the fuck you're doing, but you'll pay. Sometimes people pay so much money for business coaching, so much money for health, supplements, trainers, memberships. I mean, what do you spend? Like $1,000 a month for our family's health? Just the memberships?
Just the memberships, yes.
Like
plus all the other health.
But see, we're not going to pick and choose and not focus on the priority in life, which is us. The bulk of our education and training and resources comes from where we need to learn, where we want to grow the most, and then we can apply the rest.
That goes back to balance, though, when we talk about are you successful? Well, you can't say that you're successful if your marriage is good, but your relationship with your kids sucks, or your marriage sucks, but you're successful at work, or your health is, you're not working towards things. So it's that balance aspect.
You have to really know what it is that you want. The problem, at least for men, the problem that I find is like we have all these issues and I just didn't know the rug, quote unquote, got pulled out from under me. Like, just embrace it right now. You're struggling because you don't know. You're going to either pay for help or you're going to go slow and lose it all potentially. That's it. And I'm not trying to scare you. I'm not trying to push you into our program. What I am saying, though, is we weren't afraid to learn and we came back from the depths of hell. So the most common problem next would be if you decide it's time to learn, well, are you going to learn from people that can actually help you, or are you going off the budget friendly? How many other ways could you sacrifice? Is there something that you could get rid of in your life? And I walked around the home of one of my partners today with Zoom. Okay. And we were talking about this exact issue. And you know what James said?
What?
He just looked around his house. He's like, man, I could probably sell that for $1,000. Oh, I could probably sell that for 50. I could probably sell that for a few hundred. Like, you guys don't prioritize the right shit. Like we talked about in the last episode, like you can't buy my book. You can't buy a $25 book that's been on sale for a month and a half because you drink too much. So the next reason is because you don't know how to spend your money. Even the rich people don't know how to spend their money because, again, you're probably buying more business courses and relationships just on the back burner. Like, I don't get it.
Then you have to give away half of your money to your wife when she leaves.
Yeah, people get so pissed off about this.
You didn't want to invest in your marriage, but now you have to give it all away anyway. How does that make sense?
It makes zero sense to me. So, okay, let's recap and we'll keep going. So number one is you just have to accept you don't know. The biggest reason that you are going to fail is because you will not spend the time to learn.
You don't know that you don't know.
That's right. The next reason is that you finally decide and you don't want to invest in actually getting there.
Or you don't know where to invest.
That's right. Maybe you don't know how to ask the right questions. Also, we've talked about that before. Did the people that you want to learn from even save their marriage? It drives me mental, the amount that people will try to learn. And I don't care what the topic is. Okay, but you're learning from somebody who never took the time to actually implement in their own life, to actually become something. So you need to stop and get a hold of yourself. Why do you think we're so successful? Not just in our marriage, but then also with business, but then also with health. It's because we've invested in all of those things. And we, not only that, we teach it. So that's the next point. I want you guys to understand that you will learn faster and implement quicker, more quality. You'll be better at it. Okay. If you can start leading other people. Now, I love this. People always want their spouse to follow them. What makes somebody a leader, honey?
When somebody follows you.
When somebody follows you. It doesn't have to be your spouse.
You're not a leader if nobody is following you.
That's right. You don't have to be a spouse, it doesn't have to be your spouse first. Your third
People
step.
in your life will follow you if you are going in a direction that is attractive. Your spouse could be a negative sentiment override. Your spouse could have bitterness and resentment. So your spouse might not follow you. But if you look around at your life, people are following you if you are in leadership.
I'm going to use a super awesome example because I just love this when I talk to a new man joining the program. And it's like, okay, most of us, I'm not saying everybody, but most of us feel some level of frustration if we get cut off in traffic. Guys like I used to be like, motherfucker, fingers and all this shit, road rage.
You don't do that in Texas.
No.
People carry.
Well, I wouldn't do that anyways anymore. But okay, let's go back to the wife example. Okay. So she's not believing you. She's angry. She's bitter. She's resentful. She's whatever. Okay. I'm showing validation. I'm empathetic. I'm being more patient, trying to be more compassionate, understanding. I'm also still trying to provide the life. Okay.
Which wife are you talking about?
This is just hypothetical.
Theoretical, right?
I like to point at you because I only have one fucking wife, and that's the way it's only ever going to be.
I'm just teasing
and
you.
So wait, now you're giving her the life, the fun stuff, and everything like that. She's not following. Okay. Well, imagine talking to her or around her, teaching your kids a valuable lesson about getting cut off in traffic, and be like, man, I hope that guy's okay. And the bitter one's going to be like, what? Like, that's not who you are. What are you trying to say? And you're just like, well, man, maybe he just lost his job. That's showing the empathy that you've been implementing. And so eventually she starts to see it's real, which means we can go to the next point. How valuable are you? See, most of you are failing in marriage because you're not valuable. You think that if you take care of the kids or you take care of the paycheck, you think that if you do what you're supposed to do, you're valuable. But if you just have a partner, you just have a family like kids, and you just have a job, whatever that job is, your roles, doesn't matter to me. Okay. That doesn't make you valuable. That makes you normal. Okay. Normal. You're about to publish another book, aren't you, honey?
I have 3 lined up in the queue.
3 more books.
4. There's one that's come that other publishing company.
I wrote my book.
4 by March, ladies and ladies
I'm so proud
and gentlemen. If I can get my words out, I could write them. I just can't speak them.
Listen, I wrote I wrote my book in 6 months. Okay. Now, I couldn't do that on my own, but I made it work with people helping me edit it and people doing this and doing that. Okay. Why is that important? Because most people don't ever write the book, ever. If they do, it takes 10 years. Also, what is the value from the book? I'm disrupting divorce. I know we're not just saving marriages. We're teaching people to be valuable. We're teaching people to give back, i.e., when you give to your spouse, what do they think? The car example. Wow, this is real. This person's real. He's not just with me. He's not just changing for me. She's not just changing for me. Guys, the 4th most common reason you will fail is because you are not valuable. All you care about is yourself. And if you only care about yourself, it means you do something like learn, invest in yourself. You move your way through this whole show today, and you start to say, really, I only care about saving my marriage, which means I'm only changing for you, which means I don't actually give a fuck about myself.
Or anybody else.
Or anybody else. So why would your partner, who's already looking down and disrespectful on you, okay, why would they care about you? If you don't value yourself, now, this brings me to the next point. Value is not, just working out. You should work out. That's normal, okay? But value, people often think about it as like hobbies and this and that. Man, that's the last thing on the list. So the last thing I want to leave you with the episode today is most people pick and choose the wrong things to make them feel better or to be valuable or whatever. And what you have to realize is there's a foundation in your relationship that has to come first. Your family, okay? And in and amongst that, it's going to be broken up with the prioritization that Kathryn talked about, okay? So that you can offer value, which is quality, to the world, okay? And it could be a smaller circle, doesn't have to be our circle, okay? But then what's the quality like when you bring it home? All these skills that you invested, all this time that you invest, owning the vision of who you want to be and creating the value so that you can be a valuable relationship. Then you don't fail in marriage.
I have one more thing.
Go.
So one of the reasons that I think you fail in marriage is society. So people used to say to us, you'll see when you're married for 5 years, you'll see after you have kids. The assumption that marriage tanks after you have children, and you believe it. You think that because your marriage starts to fail and your connection starts to break with your husband or your wife, that's okay because we have kids now. You know, your sex life tanks. That's okay. We have toddlers. That's okay. I just had a baby. Society tells you that you can put your marriage on the back burner because of certain things that happen in life, and that you don't have to go back and repair whatever damage, because damage happens when you have children. Damage happens when you've been married for 5 years, 10 years, 50 years. Society will tell you this is normal. Oh, it's normal to have this disconnection. Don't worry about it. It's normal. Once you're not going to get along that well once you've been married for 5 or 10 years. It's normal not to talk anymore when you've been married for 25. Yeah. And so when you listen to society, it all of a sudden makes your marriage disposable because you think, oh, this is just the way it's supposed to be. And then you don't fight for more. And when you don't fight for more, naturally you gravity going down towards less because you're not fighting to keep it up, because your marriage doesn't just stay up here. For those of you that are not on YouTube, I have my hand above my head. Your marriage doesn't just stay there automatically. You need to be intentionally growing, making yourself valuable. All of those things that are going to bring your marriage here. When you stop doing that, you get complacent and everything goes down.
Yeah,
but then you listen to society who says, don't worry, that happened to me. That's normal. And you start having more girls' nights. You start spending more time with your kids. You start doing anything that doesn't keep you engaged and connected to your spouse. And that, I believe, is one of the big reasons that marriages
I really
fail.
love where you went with that, baby. It's super, super intelligent. And here, like, for those of you guys that are listening, right? Oh, this is it, man. Last vagina for the rest of your life. Nobody would say it, sadly. Like, this sounds disappointing when you hear it that way, right? That's how men speak to each other on the wedding day, okay? Nobody would say that if the world was talking about their great sex life. Why? Because it's normal for sex life to go away. You guys got to stop. That's why I say, I didn't add this to the list, babe. It's a great ad. The reason why I wouldn't is because all those other things would prevent you from ever doing that. You see, if you are valuable and your partner follows, doesn't matter who's leading, okay? Ideally, it's both at the same time. We wish. But
then you're leading each other and you're not being led by society who's going to feed you lies.
That's right, because you both understand, you both embrace, you both work, which doesn't feel like work anymore. There's one-on-one clients we have right now. They're just like, that's exactly what he said to me. He's like, this isn't work. This is amazing. The connecting, she's opening up more than she's ever opened up in like 10 years or something like that. Like, does that sound like work, guys? Don't listen to society, because that's another bullshit lie they'll tell you. Okay? All right. It is work to get there.
Oh, yeah.
I won't lie to you there. Okay?
It's not just rainbows and lollipops.
No, but when you get there is my point, because now you lift each other. All right? Guys, if you want help to learn how to do this so that you can learn to lift each other, MorrowMarriage.com. Let's go get your life.
Bye.